We are in Mill Hill, and I am with Jess.
Yep.
Jess is back.
Sorry, something stuck over it.
Try wishing the windows were open now. You understand what we're going to be doing here today. Would you like me to explain a little bit about the test? The test is going to last approximately between 35 and 42 minutes. At all times, I like to follow the road ahead unless it's told to turn left or turn right, or unless road signs indicate otherwise. And if I need you to turn, I'll tell you in good time. We're going to take in approximately somewhere between 15 and 20 minutes of sat-nav or independent drive, one reversing maneuver, and possibly an emergency stop. And I'll be asking you a couple of show-me-tell-me questions. Tell me how you would check that your brakes were working before starting a journey.
You turn on the car and pump the brakes and see if they feel, how they feel, and if they feel loose or anything like that. And then you can also check them as you move off to make sure they work properly.
Okay. Any other information?
You can check the brakes.
When someone says that to you, you just like freeze.
Yeah.
What did I miss? Do you know what? You're not that far off. Basically, yes, absolutely correct. You should check them as you're moving off. They shouldn't feel spongy or slack.
Those are the words I was looking for because I couldn't remember
Spongy or slack. And the car, as you go to brake, it shouldn't pull to one side. When you see us next, we'll be starting the test. Okay, so Jess, whenever you're ready, start your engine. So drive on when you're ready. Unfortunately, they don't like us being in the test centre, so we're literally starting at the road opposite. Jess is about to encounter a meeting situation with a bus, and she gets away with it, but she could have done a bit better here. If she was looking far enough ahead, she should be thinking about pausing here, which would have given the bus enough space to come through. She does stop, however, but picks up 2 driver faults. And then a couple of 100 meters down the road, she's skimming parked cars. Again, she makes it through, but it's completely unnecessary. In contrast, she deals with this section of road much better. You can hear by the sound of the engine that her speed is decreasing as she gets closer to these parked cars. And at the traffic lights, we're just going to follow the road ahead, yeah?
Okay.
Jess does well through this section of High Street. She's got a few things she has to deal with, and she keeps a good distance back from the bus, so she's not having to react every time the bus slows down. When the bus pulls in at the bus stop, Jess deals with the meeting situation well and checks her mirrors before she moves off round. She then responds well to this car door being open, and then 2 random motorbikes moving off just up ahead. Okay, so the traffic lights turn left, and then at the next set of traffic lights, which is just around the corner, turn right.
Okay.
So it's almost like a left and immediately right, okay? Jess gets momentarily confused by these traffic lights, one being red and one being green. She slightly confuses the pedestrians and stalls the car. You could argue that she could get a serious fault for these 2 pedestrians being in the road. However, I think it's much safer for her to proceed, as the light is green. And then immediate right here.
Because she recovers reasonably quickly, she gets away with it, but she does pick up 2 driver faults. Jess moderates her speed well as she passes these parked cars and enters a meeting traffic situation which she deals with well. She doesn't check her mirrors as she moves off though, so she picks up a driver fault.
And then I like it to try and find somewhere to pull up on the left in a safe place. In this instance, don't worry too much about driveways, okay?
Jess checks her mirrors and signals well for this pull-up on the left, but she does pull up opposite a junction on the right-hand side. Stopping in this position can be hazardous for emerging vehicles from that particular junction, and just creates more risk. Always try and avoid it.
Brilliant. Drive on when you're ready. And then at the traffic lights, turn right, please.
Jess deals with this next section of road relatively well. She picks up her speed, but only momentarily, and then reduces it. And really it's less the speed and more the position. Always consider who or what could come out from in between parked cars. Jess signals fractionally early for the exit of this roundabout, but it's only advisory. Ideally, she should have signalled here, but it doesn't matter because it doesn't interfere with anybody. Again, Jess deals with the roundabout well. Jess is in good control right now. She's reading the signs and she doesn't ask which way she's going here.
And at the roundabout, turn left, please.
Jess is a little bit unduly hesitant at this roundabout. She has an option to go just after this car, but because she's still in gear 2, she misses her opportunity to go. It's only for a few seconds, so it's just a driver fault. Jess responds well to the pedestrian crossing straight after the roundabout.
Okay, the roundabout, follow the road ahead.
And she deals with this junction well.
Traffic lights, turn right, please. When it's safe to do so, could you open the slide window for me, please? Amazing. Thank you very much.
Jess is approaching the Honeypot Lane roundabout, which I guess on this route is considered to be the most difficult junction.
And at the roundabout, I'd like you to turn right, 4th exit.
And just like always, I recommend read the road sign.
Yes, just after the traffic lights at the roundabout.
Jess makes the right choice here. The cars in front of her are not positioned properly, but she doesn't try and force her way through. Jess waits patiently for a gap and then takes it when it comes. Keeping track of your exits as you're going round a roundabout that you're unfamiliar with is probably a good idea. So while you're sitting there waiting for your gap, I would definitely register the first one now. She then moves correctly into the right-hand lane.
Fourth exit.
The exit of this roundabout is quite tricky. Jess should be moving to the left-hand lane here, but there aren't any road markings to tell her that she needs to do that until she gets here. If she was counting her exits, she should be able to figure it out. The safest option would have been to go around again, but she chooses to exit. Because she doesn't interfere with anybody and she does her mirrors and signal, it's just a driver fault. But be careful, that could go against you and become a serious quite easily.
You will arrive at your destination at 11:32 a.m.
Drive on when you're ready.
Okay. That might take a minute.
Jess has a very difficult move off from the side of the road. It's very busy, but she's patient and she waits for a gap.
There we go.
Jess is approaching a width restriction, and she just simply doesn't slow down enough, so she grazes the curb.
After 300 yards, turn right, A5, then take Broadway. Turn right.
Jess could have positioned a little further forwards on this crossroads in her near side position, but it doesn't affect anybody and she clears the junction well. Jess's mirror work has been on point throughout this test, and again she doesn't let herself down here either. The road ahead gets a little bit tight, and she actually does better than some of the drivers right in front of her. Although once again, she almost gets caught out. Again, it would have just been better to hold back here.
After 200 yards, turn right, Gervais Road.
Jess picks up a fault for undue hesitation here. The lights are flashing amber, but she's not moving. Fortunately, it's not for too long, so it's just a driver fault. Jess's right turn signal comes on a little early. This is just a driver fault for signal timed. Jess's speed for the width restriction is much better, but unfortunately she stalls the car. Jess manages this section of road well. It's quite tight in places, but she keeps her speed moderate.
Find somewhere to pull up on the right in a safe place, please. On the right. If you can.
Jess holds gear 1 for this entire stretch of road, which is not exactly eco-friendly.
Okay, so I'd like you to reverse the car approximately about 10 meters, keeping reasonably close to the curb. Ready?
Yes.
Drive when you're ready.
Jess easily manages the pull up on the right in reverse. She does all the correct observation and keeps herself reasonably close to the curb.
That'll do. Brilliant. Drive on when you're ready.
Again, textbook observation by Jess. And from here on out, it's just a straight run back to test center.
And then if you could just find somewhere to pull up on the left, just go past this van here, find somewhere to pull up on the left. And that'll do. How was that?
It's alright. I think. I hope.
Let's have a little look. How do you think you did?
Not too badly. I hope.
Pass or fail?
It's nothing I know I failed for unless it was something like I didn't know like the curve before.
Yeah, you passed that.
Okay,
For me, that would have been a pass. I mean, there's a couple of things here, right? So,
yeah.
a couple of times you're getting a little bit close on the left-hand side, and once
Yeah.
you went into the width restriction really, really quickly and scraped the curb.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really unnecessary.
Yeah.
Obviously, clutching gears a couple of times, stall.
Yeah.
A couple of times. Mirrors change the direction a couple of times. Timed signal. You put the signal on really, really early at one point. Judgment for meeting. Again, this was kind of near the beginning of the test. You just sort of flew into it. That would have been a pass, Jess.
Okay.
You gonna pass that?
I feel better.
Yeah. Anyway, so there you go. That's my first pass on the channel.
Ah,
It's Jess.
lovely.
Amazing. Anyway, this has been Jess's mock test. A pass. So if you like what we've seen here, hit the like button, subscribe if you want more content, and we will see you in the next one, or I will see you in the next one. Get well out.